Welcome everybody back to WICOR Bytes, where each week we review a different WICOR instructional strategy to help you maximize student learning. Strategy, philosophical chairs. A strategy that's perfect for tricking students into having fun while making meaning of academic content. All right, so what exactly is philosophical chairs? Philosophical chairs is a classroom discussion strategy in which students take a position on a debatable topic, engage in a structured debate, and reflect on their perspectives. You would use this strategy after the initial teaching and learning of academic content, but prior to the final summative assessment. And most importantly, why would you use philosophical chairs? Well, this strategy helps students develop deeper, more nuanced understandings and encourages students to consider diverse perspectives while also providing an opportunity for students to practice using academic language while developing their speaking and active listening skills. At this point, please take a second to pause, reflect, and discuss these questions with your colleagues. Have you ever tried philosophical chairs? And if so, how and how often have you implemented it? Okay, let's break down the steps for implementation here. First, you'll introduce the arguable statement under consideration. It's important for the statement to be easily understood with plausible reasons participants would agree or disagree. In a biology class, you could use the statement, genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are essential for addressing global food shortages. A marketing class could debate the statement, social media influencers are more effective than traditional advertising in reaching younger audiences. And an example from world history could be, the Industrial Revolution had a more positive impact on society than a negative one. Now, notice how each of these statements walk the line between being specific while remaining comprehensible for students. If you have a particularly complex statement, you might want to explicitly review it with students and have them paraphrase the statement to ensure understanding. And as a pro tip, it's never a bad idea to have multiple statements ready in case students exhaust the arguments for and against the first topic. To save time, you could even have AI do this for you. For step 2, ask students to brainstorm and jot down potential arguments and evidence for and against the statement. I recommend having students refer to their class notes during this step for no other reason than encouraging students to reference and actually use their notes to learn is such a good study habit. You could also provide a word bank or other list of terms or relevant concepts if you're so inclined. For step 3, if the debate is based on a text, have students highlight or underline quotes to be used to support their positions. You could also make this step an extension of the previous one and ask students to highlight ideas and information from their class notes that could support their positions too. Right, now we're getting into starting the actual debate. To encourage broad participation, determine how many times each student will be able to speak, usually 1 time, 2, or 3, and then pass out totems, such as popsicle sticks or even a highlighter or a pencil, that students will use, and they'll turn that in when it's their turn to speak. Next, you'll designate one side of the room for students who agree with the statement and the opposite side for those who disagree, and then instruct students to line up along their respective sides of the room. Now it's time to hold the philosophical chairs debate. During each round, students will paraphrase the other side's previous point, refute the other side's claims or offer a new point using sufficient reasoning and evidence. If persuaded to do so, move to join the opposing side at the end of the round, and repeat the 3 previous steps as time allows. As a fun pro tip, you can give the losing side an advantage in the form of a special totem where if they choose to use it, the teacher jumps in and makes an argument in their favor. We ask students to summarize the points made on both sides during the activity and reflect on how their own thinking about the topic has changed. My only pro tip here is to not skip this step, however tempting it may be because of time, and I'll talk about this more in just a second. To extend thinking and assess student understanding through writing, make sure to have students complete the written reflection at the end of the activity. Arguing and having a good time is great and all, but remember the purpose of the activity is to have students develop deeper understandings and make new connections about the content. And summarizing and reflecting are crucial strategies for helping students to commit information and arguments heard during the debate to memory. And of course, the natural extension of philosophical chairs is argumentative writing. This strategy exposes students to claims, counterclaims, and reasoning that they wouldn't have thought of if working in isolation. Potentially, you could allow students to use their notes from their written reflection to help them develop their argumentative writing into a full essay or an extended composition.
You might be wondering how to support multilingual learners through this engagement strategy. As always, it is extremely helpful to model the procedure before getting started. You could model each step with volunteer students or show a quick video of philosophical chairs, drawing students' attention to what it looks like and sounds like to have a productive and respectful debate. Before asking students to begin the procedure, review key vocabulary to remind students what words they are expected to use in the debate. Consider posting key vocabulary on an anchor chart so that students can reference it as needed throughout the discussion. Provide sentence stems for each part of the debate. For example, you can provide sentence stems for the paraphrasing part and a different set for the part where students provide counter-arguments. As needed, you could also provide a word bank of academic and unit vocabulary you hope to hear students using throughout the debate. Some multilingual learners may feel reluctant to speak in front of the whole class. Rehearsing what they plan to say with either a peer or with you and getting quick feedback can help build their confidence. If they've written what they plan to say, you can read over it and encourage them to read their statement out loud.
Okay, I'm back, and that's it for today, everybody. Remember, don't hesitate to reach out to me or our other amazing coaches at Overton for support if you'd like to give philosophical chairs a try. Like I like to say, it is literally our jobs to support you. It's what we get paid to do. So you are not intruding. We want nothing more than help you feel confident and capable as an educator. As a bridge to practice today, consider the upcoming lessons and standards in the scope of your curriculum. What content would be a good fit for holding a philosophical chairs debate? And what could be a tentative statement to use as the focus for this activity? All right, bye everybody. See you next week.